What's going on, everybody? It's Thursday, the 21st of November, 2024. It's 10:50 a.m. here in Germany. This is the Insanity Report for today. And before we get started, I wanted to make a small mention about the Congress Nancy Mace trans bathroom issue. Now, for the people out there that don't know about it, which I can't imagine that there's anybody that doesn't, but there is a new trans congressperson, right? So this is a man that is dressing up like a woman and demands that people call him, it's confusing as shit, really. So they demand that people call him Sarah instead of his normal name, which I don't know, because I really don't care about this. You know what I'm saying? The reason I don't care about this is because we can put this trans insanity shit behind us. That shit is going to be over in January, okay? There's not going to be any more fucking men and women's bathrooms or any of that shit, because the culture has changed, the culture has spoken, and the American citizens elected Donald Trump as a rejection of this woke bullshit, right? And the reason why it's not so important is because Mike Johnson did the right thing, which, you know, I wasn't expecting him to do, but basically he put it in the House rules, no men and women's bathrooms, period. That's the end of the story. So that's pretty much over, right? Now, Nancy Mace I love it that she's fighting it, and she was ready to put a bill up in case Mike Johnson squished on this issue and said, you know, because he tried. At first he was like, well, you know, man, you know, he made a statement about, well, you know, what's a woman, and is this man a woman? And he kind of like dodged it. And then he got so much pushback that he went and made an official statement saying, look, men cannot become women. Men are men, women are women. That's the end of the story. And the rules of the House say no men in women's bathrooms. Now, you know, you got to wonder that this person, right, this Sarah McConnell, or whatever the fuck she calls herself, or he calls himself, or whatever, right? Look, the people of whatever state the person is from elected him, right? And they elected him as a trans person, right? So they knew that. So in Congress, when they're speaking to each other, if they decide that they're going to go ahead and call this man a woman just to kind of keep the peace and not have to fuck around and do mental gymnastics around, should I do it, should I not? Fine. If they're being respectful and they're just there to do their job, which so far they haven't done, because the first thing that this Sarah guy did was come in and start bitching about, I want to get in the women's bathroom. So they're wasting taxpayer money because they're on the clock for the taxpayer, right? Every minute they're up there, taxpayer money is being given to them to do a certain job. And bitching and moaning about the fucking bathroom isn't one of them. So he's already doing his voters a disservice. He's already asking to be disrespected. See, that's the thing with these trans shit, with this trans ideology shit, right? If they were to just shut up and not make demands about they want extra rights over the rights of other people, right? Then people would probably be way more easygoing and be like, okay, right, it's a colleague of mine. He's dressed like a woman. He kind of looks like a woman. He wants to be called a woman. Fine, I'll call him she, right? I'm not going to just purposely disrespect the person if I don't have a reason to. But the fact is, the congressperson has, the other congress people have a reason to disrespect him. God damn, Jesus Christ. I feel like I'm on an acid trip, right? So, because this person is demanding extra rights over the rights of others. That's disrespectful to everybody else. Going and complaining and calling Nancy Mace a transphobe, a hater, or whatever, Jew hater, or fucking transphobe, or Nazi, or fascist, or all the shit they say, that is not really showing respect for her feelings about the thing, right? And all of the women's feelings about the thing, right? And the biggest excuse that these people use is, well, I mean, it's only one trans at Congress. Yeah. I don't think that's going to be a real thing anymore soon either, because these people are pushing it so far that they are going to be ostracized from public life. It's exactly what they don't want to happen. What they want is to be treated fairly and treated equally. And once they get that, right, then they become demanding and all this shit. You know why there's now a trans congressperson? Why has there never been a trans congressperson before? Why? because socially, it wasn't socially acceptable, right? To go into a professional position like this, dressed like a woman. You know what I'm saying? 10 years ago, there would have never been a Dick Levine dressed like an old grandma. You know what I'm saying? The guy looks horrible. You know what I mean? That is in no way a woman. There would have never been that. Why? Because socially, people were like, no, in a drag club or a fucking nightclub or on a, at a gay sex party, fine. You know what I mean? Even if you want to do that walking around, you can. But you wouldn't have been able to work at Safeway, right? Or at the Dollar General like that. I mean, when I was young and I worked at McDonald's when I was 17, I couldn't even wear a fucking earring. They were like, no hats, no earrings. You got to wear the stupid uniform. You got to wear the stupid little fucking visor. And there was no self-determination at work, right? No. And now everybody's just let it all down and like, oh, you can come looking like whatever you want. You can have shit all in your face. You can have 1,000 piercings. You can have a tattoo of a fucking swastika or a pussy right in the fucking middle of your forehead. No problem. We got to accept it. We got to take it, people. That's it. We got to take it. You know what I mean? And that's crazy, right? That's crazy. But that's now all become acceptable because it's been forced down on people. People don't really want to accept it. It's being forced on them. That's why people like this congressperson have the balls to come into Congress acting like they're a woman when they're really a man, because they are protected. And the reason why I say this is not that important of an issue anymore is because after Donald Trump gets into office, these people are not going to be protected with rights that other people don't have. The conversation is going to be pretty much over, and people are going to be way more secure in calling these people out in public than they have been over the last 5-6 years, because during the last 5 or 6 years, these people were legally protected. So you had to shut the fuck up. You couldn't call a man a woman a man, or a man a woman, or whatever. You couldn't do it, right? You couldn't go against the ideology, or there would be consequences. Well, I think that there's a good chance that shit is over soon. So the rules are in the house. The rule has been made. He's not going to be able to go to the bathroom there, and hopefully he takes that as the way the rules are, and he lets it go, and that's the end of it, right? That's the end of it. Now, I hope that people like Nancy Mace and Marjorie Taylor Greene and shit aren't going to just row this person, right? Because that's kind of unfair. But he did bring it on himself, right? If he would have just gone in there, acted like a normal human, treated the other people with respect, and not bitched and moaned about the fucking bathrooms, then there would probably been no problem, right? But he has antagonized these people, and so now if they go after him, and now if they make a point of calling him a man, you know what I mean? See, I don't know the guy, so I don't have to respect him, because I have no dealings with him. So for me, it's a man, right? I'm not going to be told that I have to call him a woman, right? But I would understand if you're working with the person and, they're generally a nice person. Why wouldn't you give them the respect and say, oh, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Just to make the person happy and not to argue about it every time. But this person has already gotten off on the wrong foot, and so now if they get bullied and ostracized, I guess they kind of brought it on themselves. That said, let's get to the more important thing today in the Insanity Report. The more important thing is Joe Biden's administration, whoever's pulling Joe Biden's strings, has put the world in a much more dangerous place. Now, I guess it kind of depends how you look at it, but obviously Biden did not make the decision to allow Ukraine to start firing long-range missiles into Russia, right? That wasn't Biden's decision, because Biden can't even wipe his own ass anymore. It's done. He's done, right? We know now, we've known for at least a year, that there is no fucking way that Biden, the president, is actually running the country. There's no way. We know it. Everybody knows it, and it's just getting worse. It's not like it's getting better. Like, he's coming out of a brain fog type situation, and now it looks, it's not like with Fetterman, where Fetterman was basically, half retarded, and then he healed up, he got better, and now he can talk and act and think like a normal human being again. Matter of fact, I kind of like the guy. You know what I mean? I don't love him, but he's all right. You know what I'm saying? He's a little bit anti-establishment, it looks like, so I like that. And he got better, but Joe Biden is not going to get better. Joe Biden is going to be like this until he's dead. You know what I'm saying? We all know that. So we know nobody is running the show at the White House except for people behind the scenes who weren't elected. And so these unelected people have decided we want at all costs for Russia to be defeated in this war that Russia will never be defeated against. There's no way to defeat Russia unless you blow up the whole world with nuclear weapons and everybody dies. That's how you defeat Russia. And these people think, they assume, I guess, well, Putin's not going to fire a nuke. Now, I also think that Putin's not going to fire a nuke, but I don't think that he's not going to fire a nuke because, like, for the same reasons everybody else does, right? Everybody else thinks Putin, he's in a bad position. He feels like he's going to lose. He's not going to fire. And he said that since the beginning. He's been threatening that he's never going to do it. Well, he's never going to do it unless the right moment comes up, right? And if suddenly a missile fires into Moscow or hits the Kremlin or some shit or somebody, you know, Putin's people or family or some shit get killed over this, well, he might fire a nuke then. You know what I mean? And also, people have to remember that Putin is not the only one in charge. It may seem like that to us, but he's got a whole bunch of oligarchs around him that are also making decisions. He's getting pushed to not take this shit. Right? But Putin is level-headed. Putin understands that Donald Trump will be in office pretty soon, and that a deal will be made of some sort that will probably not please everybody the same, but anyway will put the fighting to a stop. And so it would be dumb of him to now start nuclear Armageddon, and he's not dumb, right? As a matter of fact, countless politicians from the past, including Bill Clinton and fucking George Bush and whoever else, all of them have said in the past, you can deal with Putin pretty easy. He's pretty level-headed. He's pragmatic. He's smart. He knows what he's talking about, and you can get along with him. And it's no problem. Now he's like Satan, the same as everybody else that goes against their agenda. Donald Trump is Satan. Putin is Satan. Fucking Viktor Orban is Satan. Javier Milei, Satan. Hitler. They're all mad crazies, right? Except for the Americans, except for the West. And it's the West that's causing the fucking problems. First of all, the West started this war by continuing to move NATO further closer to Russia's border. I've said this so many times, and a lot of people agree with me, and I agree with those people, and I don't give a shit what the talking heads on CNN or these fucking corrupt military people or the people in the Biden administration say about it. They want war to continue. They want it to continue for a bunch of reasons. One of them is money and feeding the military-industrial complex, and the others are ideological or whatever. I don't care what their reasons are. The fact is they're playing with everybody's lives, right? And they know Trump's going to come in, and he's probably going to try to put an end to it. So what they want to do is they want to hype this war up so bad that Putin will refuse to make a deal with Trump because now half of his country has been bombed, and now he's in it for the long haul. That's what they want. Why do they want that? Who cares? Who cares? It doesn't matter why they want it, because the fact is nothing that they're doing is to protect Americans. They're not protecting Europeans. They're not protecting anybody. They are fomenting and egging on a war to continue at the cost of countless people's lives because they want the war to continue, or they want to make it difficult for Donald Trump to cut a deal, whatever it is. It seems like Ukraine is the most important thing on these establishment politicians' mind. It's the same thing here in Europe. That's all they talk about. Oh my God, Ukraine. I can't fucking hear it anymore. Fuck Ukraine. Really, sorry. That's it. I've had it. I've fucking had it. These people need to start paying attention to their own goddamn countries and the problems that people have in their countries. That's what they got to do. But they're not doing that. They're worried about Ukraine. And they're not really even worried about Ukraine. They're worried about defeating Russia because they're worried that Russia might get too much power. Look, Putin has been in there for 25 years, right? I've lived in Europe, America, a bunch of countries. Never once have we been anywhere threatened by Putin in any way. Putin has never gone on TV and said, I'm going to nuke Europe. I'm going to fucking start a war with NATO. I'm going to start a war with America. Not one fucking time. Right? Not once. I'm not worried about Putin at all. As a matter of fact, the Biden administration and these establishment elite politicians have made it so that now our lives here in Europe especially But the lives of the regular people hang in the balance of what Putin decides. So actually, I would rather Putin be happy, right? Because I don't want to die over this shit. I don't want to get nuked over this shit. And I don't really want any more Ukrainian people or Russian people to get killed over it. Because it's bullshit, right? It's bullshit. The whole war is bullshit. It's to feed the American military-industrial complex and to launder money that goes to Ukraine and back to the Democrats or whatever the fuck's going on with it. You know what I mean? Who knows, right? I do not want the war to continue. Why don't I get to decide, right? Why don't I get to decide and the people get to decide if we want to risk a nuclear fucking exchange with Putin over whatever interest the Americans or the elites here in Europe might have? I think there should be a referendum in every country that supports Ukraine if the citizens want to continue at the risk of nuclear war. And let the citizens decide, not these fucking politicians that are going to be able to go into some bunker to try to escape this shit while we're out here fucking, breathing in fucking uranium or whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? That should not be the way it is. But it is like that. People are playing with everybody's lives. Now, the good thing is, I believe that Putin is a pragmatic, sane, and intelligent person that also does not want nuclear war, but also will not allow America or Europe or the West to do whatever the fuck they want to his country, his people, and his security, as it should be. I would also want a president like Putin in that case, right? I would be like, yo, you got to protect us from this shit. It's crazy, right? What Putin is doing is a normal reaction to the West antagonizing him, breaking every promise they ever made with him, breaking every deal they ever did with him in order to, advance their own interest or their own will. That's what's going on. And so I feel like Putin is in the right. Putin has a right to defend his country. America did the same during the Cold War. Russia wanted to put nukes in fucking Cuba. America said no. If suddenly Mexico decides to form an alliance with the Chinese army or BRICS, America would be like, no. And if you do it, we're going to war. If you do it, if you sign it, we're going to fucking go in. America would do exactly the same thing as Putin is doing now. So you can't fault the guy about it. There needs to be a resolution to this war, right? And there will be, likely, when Trump takes office, and Putin knows that. So for now, we're still going to make it to Christmas, guys. We're going to be safe. I don't think Putin's going to fire off a nuke. I don't think Putin's going to fire off a nuke at Europe or at America. Now, he may do a tactical nuke on Ukraine. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know what kind of damage that's going to cause. I don't think he's going to, though. I think the fact is, that Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin have already talked on the phone, and Trump and Putin have already discussed what they're going to try to do, what kind of deal they're going to try to make. And of course, Putin knows that the Biden administration, because he's smarter than them, right? He knows that the Biden administration is trying to provoke him before Trump gets in there, so that there will be no chance of any deal, right? So Putin is just going to bat away the rockets from that Ukraine is fucking firing off there, right? And wait it out until Trump takes office. But if for some reason Trump does not take office, and this war and the continuance of the war is left up to these people that are now doing this, then we're in a world of trouble. Because they're not going to end it. They want it to continue. They want it to continue. And they're going to let it continue if they can. And so that's bad news for everybody, right? That's bad news for everybody. Anyway, guys, that's kind of the deal. Biden administration trying everything they can to put the world in danger as everybody else tries to bring rationality, reason, peace, security, and logic back to the table, which is going to happen. These people are getting defeated, and so let's just wait it out. No panic, people. Guys, if you want to get all my stuff directly in your inbox, all you got to do is subscribe to my Substack below. You can do it for free. You can do it for $5 a month, which I would greatly appreciate. And then you'll get all my content delivered directly to your inbox, including all the articles I write. So go ahead and do that. Subscribe to the Substack. If you're watching this somewhere else, great. Go ahead and follow me there. But go to it'sallaboutlogic.substack.com and subscribe there, because that way you get everything centrally delivered right to your email, which is the easiest way for me to contact you and for you to see all the content and decide what you want to watch and what you don't. So there you go, guys. Have a great day. We'll see you guys on tomorrow's Insanity Report. And the weekend is coming up, finally. Peace.